The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome to the 15-Point Plan. Chad Hyams here with the rambunctious Jillene Snell. How are you, Jillene?
I'm good, but you already used that word before.
I don't think I did.
Yes, because I remember liking it on a previous podcast.
Because usually I go and order the alphabet, and last episode I'm pretty sure was Q.
Huh. Okay, well, I'm going to go back and
listen.
listen.
All right, you're going to go back and listen, and maybe I recorded one out of order and threw myself off. Who knows? Maybe you've been rambunctious before. Yet before this recording, you absolutely were, which is why you get that term. Jillene, today we are going to talk about...
Couch to finish line.
Well, whoa. Couch to finish line? The app on my phone says couch to 5K. What's couch to finish line, not couch to 5K?
I mean, here's the deal. There's so many different endeavors that people have, right?
Yep.
They might just want to run their first mile because they've never ran before.
Okay.
Or their first half marathon, or maybe even a marathon.
Sure, or a triathlon.
Ultra, triathlon, Ragnar, something like that.
Yep.
There's all sorts of finish lines that people might be shooting for. Now, you don't have to actually sign up for something formal for this to apply.
Okay.
You can have your own finish line be your achievement and your why behind it.
Oh, that sounds so like fluffy, Jillene. Even as you're saying it, I can see in your eyes, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I saying? Okay, so we want to help you go couch to wherever your finish line is. Like Jillene said, it might be a mile, it might be 3.1, it might be that 10K, it might be that 15K, heck, it might be a half marathon, a full marathon, an ultra, whatever it's going to be. Jillene, we're not going to sit here though and literally break down, okay, day one, you go run this, because everyone's finish line's different.
Right.
We'll talk about that during the program, yet where do we need to start if we're going to do a couch to insert finish line number here?
We just need to know, why are we doing this? So why are we making this choice? In part because there's going to be a lot we have to put behind it. It's an investment. Now, just know that investment's the word that you want to choose and attach, because it will be worth it. Anything that's active and healthy, that's investing in your body and your mental health and your physical health, is always worth it, right?
Yes.
So we know it will get hard.
Okay.
So we need to know our motivation.
Okay, so Jillene, you're doing Ragnar with me. You've done other races. Give me a why that you've done it to help the audience go, okay, I got it.
For sure. Well, I have a few. And one is like just being simply achievement driven. So I like to know that, hey, I've achieved something. And there's some things that we do on a daily basis where there's never a finish line. So I seek out finish lines in my life, whether it's physical or mental, or like a work project where I know, hey, like that's an amazing achievement. And so some achievements in my personal life would be like paying off my car, or remodeling my bathroom, or saving this amount of money, or paying off this kind of debt. Like those are all certain types of achievements. And running a race or doing an event, a physical event, is an achievement in itself. I also didn't grow up in the type of environment where I received medals.
Okay.
Like that blue ribbon, the medal that you...
Participation medals?
That one,
Yeah.
which I heard are given out constantly now, right?
Yep.
Well, I wasn't in that era where they were given out. So I like them. I like the shiny medal. And I've actually kept every single medal from the races that I've run. My favorite was Lululemon. It's called the Seawees in Vancouver, BC. It was a really cool race, by the way. And they give you a medal that's like in the shape of a carrot. And of course, I think the carrot's like a bottle opener, but it's just a fun one that I get to look back on and be like really proud that I accomplished something like that.
Okay.
And I know you've got a couple things. How do you motivate yourself? And
every race is going to be different for me. So yeah, there are some races that I do just because I want the shiny object, right? I've got some fun medals that, I mean, I did a virtual race. Why do a virtual race? I can just go run. Why did I have to pay someone to run outside my own house?
Yeah.
But I wanted the medal, right? It looks like a giant coronavirus, like whatever molecule or whatever. So it's like, okay, cool. I want to remember this 2020-21 experience.
Okay.
So I wanted the medal.
Oh, you're not kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
You might have to post a picture of that in our Facebook group.
I'll put a picture of that one in our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/winmakegive. Yeah, I'll absolutely put a picture of the coronavirus medal that we got. But I've had some other fun ones. I mean, the Spartan medals, they go together. So if you do like the 3 different lengths of a race, you do what's called the trifecta.
Yeah.
Each one gives you like a little piece that comes together to make a super medal. It's like the Transformers when they all bonded together.
It's something to work towards.
Yeah.
And here's
absolutely.
the thing, like if you have nothing on the docket for your future in this form of achievement, I think it's good to create one.
Yes.
It's something to work towards, something to plan, and then feel great about having achieved it. It's like nowadays people will argue that going to university and graduating with a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, like the content and the textbook learning isn't always worth it.
Correct.
I've heard. Yet it's the discipline of actually finishing what you started.
Yes.
And that carrying into other aspects of your life.
Okay, so know your why getting into it. That's where this has to start. I've had whys. You said I had a few. One was to prove somebody wrong, right? Somebody said, oh, you can't do that. I said, watch me, right? To prove somebody right. Someone said, yeah, you can do this. I know you can. Watch me. I'm going to go do it, right? Someone was prove it to myself. I've done races just for charity. There have been an organization that I supported. So I said, okay, here, make the donation and I'll go run and wear the shirt so you can have photos of all these people doing this stuff because maybe it helps your charity.
Right.
And then one I even said to you, Jillene, was that leading by example, right? I know here I am with you leading a health-based podcast. If I'm not out doing these things, what right do I have to sit in this seat?
Sure.
Right? So I have to be able to do these things. And sometimes that's what pushes me to go farther to encourage others just to be able to do it as well. That's why this last weekend when I was texting with you and Ryan, I went a little farther. I felt good and I said, all right, I'm going to push it because that's going to make you two run a little bit farther in your training.
So we just talked about the why.
Yes.
You sort of led into the who.
There
with
you
that,
go. Okay. So that's an important
You're
thing too.
attaching someone to your training.
Yes. Exactly. Right. So figure out who you're going to do this with. I've done races with Nita where we'll go and we start at the starting line together. We don't run together. We meet each other at the finish line because it's like, okay, you've got your pace. I've got my pace. Go. But we know we're doing this together. So it encourages us to do the training. It encourages us to get to the finish line. It encourages us through all of this. Training's always easier when there's someone else. How many times have you said, oh, I'm going to go work out, and then you don't? But when you have a friend waiting at the gym for you, you'll be there.
Well, it's actually why I taught fitness classes for 10 years because I knew I'd have to be there.
Yep.
And I've got, a crew of 40 people waiting for the class. And that was my accountability, right? And I just built that into my life.
Okay, so we figure the why. Now we're figuring the who. There are apps you can use. There are communities online you can join that you don't even know any of the people. Or you can just get a friend who lives near you and runs with you, works out with you, does the race with you. Or again, friends across the country. I have friends still back in Atlanta that will text each other our runs every week because we're both still training for the same style race, just on our own coasts.
Okay? For sure. So what are some apps that would be good for this particular purpose?
Well, Couch to 5K, right? I mean, that's what almost motivated us to build this and say, well, wait a minute, it's not everybody is a 5K. But Couch to 5K would be a great one. The Strava app will record your runs and you can friend on there like Facebook. And now you can see each other's runs and it'll let you know and you can like the runs and things like that. So I use the Whoop band and I've got a few people who we all share our Whoop readings with each other. So you can see who's doing what and what activities they're doing through the day for that virtual connection.
Now that's an exclusive group I'm not in, but I have used the Nike Run app and love the community in there. And then, of course, the community of Peloton, for example. If you don't have the bike, you can actually use the app and you can see when your friends are working out. You can easily share them. I always screenshot mine, don't I? After one of my workouts and I text it to Chad and he's my person, right? He always asks me like, hey, how do you feel after that run? Is there anything that's bothering you? Like, what do you think about running just a little bit longer, shorter, slower? Actually, no, you told me slower last time, the next time. So that's a part of my who built in.
Okay, so the why and the who I think are number one and number two, Jillene, for anyone to go couch to any distance, okay? The number three piece in that is the when. You talked in other sessions that we've talked about your calendar and how full your calendar is and all that stuff. We have to plan this. This isn't something that's just going to wake up and we're going to fall out of bed and start running. Talk to me a little bit about planning and how you work planning. And you've got a busy life. You've got a busy personal life. You've got a busy work life. How do you accomplish the when?
Right. Well, I've got a big business and I also have a 3 and a 4-year-old, and there's definitely a lot that comes with that. The thing that I've decided and had to make a decision early on with being, busy. I actually really dislike that word busy. I would like to think productive
Yep.
in business and personal life is that my exercise or training had to be an absolute non-negotiable.
Okay.
Like we would never leave the house without brushing our teeth, right?
Sure.
And we wouldn't not get that work project done that was tied to the success of our jobs or our businesses.
Correct.
But I think we end up putting our own health needs on the back burner. So it's just about deciding early on, like, this is worth putting in the calendar. It's like a date with yourself. You'll hear me say that over and over in
Yep.
these podcasts. And then stick to that date with yourself because you're important, if not one of the most important things on your calendar in your entire week.
Okay.
Now, what I found, Chad, and I've communicated with you, is that I'll go out and do these things, right? Go running, maybe run the farthest distance I've ever ran or do the longest bike ride that I've ever done. What happens is sometimes I'll go a little bit too hard because I'm super competitive with myself. I don't know if anyone on this podcast identifies with that,
Probably
but it drives me a little crazy. But what happens is I injure myself or I just feel that thing, where I'm like, that's pain.
Mm-hmm.
That's not discomfort. And because it's pain, then I'm going to allow my body to rest as long as it needs while still maybe walking and stretching
Yep.
and eating healthy until that pain goes away. So that might mean I don't make tomorrow's calendar date with myself, or maybe
Okay.
that calendar date gets converted into stretching, yoga, meal planning, or something like that.
Sure. Go back and listen to our last episode on stretching, and we're going to bring you one on recovery as well for when these things do happen. So we got the who, we got the why, we've now got the when. The next thing to figure out is the where. Okay, folks, here we go. One, closer to home is easy, right? The closer you are, like I'd literally run out my front door. That's my running. Okay. Because it's less excuses to say, oh, I got to drive somewhere and go to a track or go to a this or go to a that. So as close to home as possible. Somewhere that is safe. Don't go run on a highway. That's just silly. Okay. If you're going to use a treadmill because you're indoors, tip 1, put it at a 2% incline always minimum.
Does that mimic being outdoors?
That simulates roads. So then you're not then running on a road and all of a sudden it feels much harder to do because you haven't been training properly. Okay. Are you going to run outdoors or indoors? What about the weather where you live? Do you have the right attire for it so that you're ready in the cold or in the warm? Okay. Plan out your time in advance, how far you're planning to go. Okay. And as far as the where, folks, run on the road, not the sidewalk, or run on the trail. If it's a trail race, run on a trail. If it's a road race, run on a road.
See, maybe if you find like a deserted road in the middle of the county, I'm scared of those drivers that are texting and driving and,
That's why this next tip comes, Jillene. You
Okay.
always run into traffic.
towards traffic.
Okay. And boy, if you're running the wrong way and I'm coming, I'm going to take up as much of that dang running lane or side area of the road as I can. And I'm going to make a point to you coming the wrong way at me. There was a guy last week did not like coming near me as I said, get on the right side of the road, because he was running on the wrong side of the road.
Oh,
okay?
interesting.
We run into traffic so you can see those cars coming at you and the ones that aren't paying attention, so you're prepared. You cycle with traffic because you're moving at a different speed, and you bike with traffic, but you run towards traffic always, and remember that. Okay? Let's just talk. We're not going to give you a program. If you want a program, go on Google. Just type in 5K training, type in half marathon training, type in Spartan race training, whatever you need, go type it in, right? Or come into the Facebook group. Again, it's facebook.com/groups/winmakegive. Tag me in the post and say, Chad, I have this long and I want to run this far. And I will customize a plan for you. I will build you your plan based on who you are today and where you're going.
That's a generous offer right there.
Okay. It's work on my part, but I'm happy to help our audience. If someone says, I'm going to do a 5K, a half marathon, a Spartan race, whatever it is, I will help you get there. But otherwise, we are talking couch to the finish line. So let's just finish up, Jillene, with a few little tips we can give them here. Okay. First tip I want to give them is that they've got to keep their head up. Okay. When we run, naturally, so many people let their head fall forward like they're looking at a phone. because either it's heavy while they're running or they just don't know what to do. And the minute you do it, and do it right now, it's harder to breathe. You've got to keep your head up so you're keeping your airway opened. Jillene, give me a tip.
Yeah, just keep your hands relaxed. I know sometimes I've ran with my cell phone in my hand so I can put on my podcast or music or whatever, but actually you kind of want to be hands-free and relaxed. And then use your arms. Chad, you taught me this actually, going up a hill. It can be your momentum and help you get through the tougher parts of that run or exercise.
Yeah, audience, I challenge you to try to walk without moving your arms, much less run without moving your arms. You'll realize how important your arms are to running. And if you can think like a cross-country skier, you'll definitely be helping yourself.
And they're going to go front and back, right? Not crossing your body when you're moving your arms.
Body. And ladies,
so that's key.
It's a bigger challenge for ladies than it is for men.
Oh, it's
keeping
been
those
tough
arms
for me
going
to
straight.
practice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the key here, though, I think is actually if you can find an app that does running coaching, if running is the exercise that you're doing, that can be really beneficial because they'll coach you through like a 60-minute run or a 5K or whatever it is that you are doing, and they'll give you these types of tips all throughout.
Yeah, listening to Peloton, it's a great way. I've listened to a few of their outdoor runs. They do a great job of, reminding you to this, or keep your shoulders down, or keep your head up, or keep your breathing going deep, or relax your hands. Because if you're making fists like most people do, we're actually cutting off blood flow. And we've talked on other episodes about how important that blood flow is. You've got a tip about eating when it comes to running, Jillene. What's that?
Well, I think there's a big myth that once you've exercised and you've burned a lot of calories, that you can then just go eat whatever you want. Well, processed carbohydrates and sugar, they're so bad for your body. It's not refueling your body when your body needs it most. And actually, I would say try to cut those two things out of your diet for the majority of your diet, like 90% out, because what that will do is it's going to reduce the body fat in your body. I don't know of anyone that says, hey, I'd like to have more body fat, right? But the lower the body fat on our bodies, the better performers will be and will actually achieve peak performance.
Yes.
And oftentimes we just don't realize that body fat's holding us back. So just avoid eating that like iced gingerbread Cliff Bar, which is actually a thing I found out recently.
Okay.
Drinking like an Arizona iced tea or eating something unprocessed. Eat something unprocessed and healthy, maybe like eggs, because that's good protein, a salad with chicken on it, banana. Chad, you just made a face on eggs, but you just got to pick the fuel that's best for you, right?
Absolutely. Here's what I will say. It's carbs before the run. I will tell you, I have a piece of toast with raspberry jam 15 minutes before a long run.
I would argue no carbs, but it's okay for us to disagree.
Yes, it is. And I will tell you and everybody out there, what is suggested is within 1 hour of finishing any sort of heavy activity like a long run, it's 20 to 40 grams of protein within that hour into your body to start helping those muscles repair.
Yes, absolutely. And before it's eating 60 minutes before. And I just wanted to specify that it's you want to eat unprocessed carbs because most things we eat are actually carbs, right?
Yeah, yes, that's true. Many of the things we do eat are carbs, and we will continue to disagree about some of those things and continue to agree and bring you great stuff. We want to hear in the Facebook group about the races you're taking on. We want to hear about the challenges you're doing, because you can be sure you have two cheerleaders right here who will be happy to be your who and help you across any finish line you're working for. We hope this episode ups your energy and takes you to the next level.